just got the U.S. General 30-inch 4-drawer cart from Harbor Freight, and now I'm going to set this up, put together. First thing, got to open up the box. Right in the top cart, we have the directions. First thing it wants us to build out is the bottom section with the wheels and stuff. I gotta see if I can find where that is. So, gotta lift that up, open this bottom drawer, get access to this stuff, so we can start our assembly. And this guy, which is sitting at the bottom, looks like it's our base piece. Alright, we got our wheels here. 2-bit swivel and 2 stationary. So I've got to make sure I put the right ones the right place. Okay, so the instructions say there's 2 different types of bolts, or 3 different types, but I can only find 2 different types. I got this bag and this bag. One type got these little squares on them by the base to help lock it in when you're screwing this in. And the other type does not, they're just fully round. Round ones with these screw heads that we're going to use to attach the wheels. So there is a piece of felt here. I want to make sure that we are aware of that. Okay, so it's just hand tightened. Going to do the same thing to the other side. Alright, so now we've got our wheels on very loosely. I haven't tightened it up with any tools. You can see each one of these can wobble around just a little bit. But I think we picked the right thing. There's only one left over, one set left over, 1 bolt, 1 nut, 1 washer, in case you lose one. So this looks correct. Okay, I'm going to tighten these now. It's about a 10 millimeter on top, but good luck trying to grip it with the stationary wheels. So just hold it down with this. Okay, we've got our swivels and our straights. Alright, I should be able to move this off to the side for now. Lock this down, the wheels. Okay. Now we got our corner posts. For these ones, we're going to use the ones with little square edges because the holes on these corners are square. So all we have to do is put our bolt in here, and the square part locks it. It's about a 13 millimeter. I think it probably makes more sense right now to keep these a little bit loose and to come back and tighten these later. So I'm just going to do them by hand for now, and then once everything's together, then I'm going to tighten it. Now these need to get dropped in. And we're still using these ones with the square ends. Having everything loose makes it easy to bend everything into its right position for the moment. Alright. I want you to take a look at this mistake I made so you don't make it as well. I assumed that these bars were all the same, and they are the same, but the top is different from the bottom. If you can look between here, the bottom one is flush against here, and the bottom one here is not flush. So this is really upside down. So I have to undo this one and reflip it. Otherwise, these are not going to line up. Hole there, and a hole there. To get it to line up, it'd have to be diagonal, and that's no good. Okay, now the holes here line up with each other, and I can place this in without any problems. Okay, and this is what we have here. Okay, I'll just place this down here for now. Alright, so here's another thing that I've learned. There is a bag that has all these nuts and bolts in it, and they all look the same to me. They really do. But if you look very, very carefully, there are some that are just ever so slightly longer than the others. So these two are short, these two are long. And we want to separate these long ones because we'll need these for the handle. So just something to be aware of as you're going through this. I don't know how you're supposed to pick those two out, but that's the deal. And I had accidentally put one of the long ones inside here, so I just took that one out. Now I got to replace it with a regular length one. I made these mistakes so you don't have to. So none of these are really tight, it's still kind of loose. But now I can drop my top piece on here. I'll tighten it later. Now keep in mind you want the handle to go on the same side as the swivel. And as far as I can tell, you can pick which side you want the handle to be on. So put the handle on the same side as the swivel wheels, and it should make things easier to move around. can start bolting in this top unit. Just to help, I'm going to start with these pistons. The thick part of the piston goes up. Okay, and the pistons go in like this. And there are 4 special bolts inside the big bag with everything else. So it's not these bolts that we've been using for almost everything. There's 4 bolts like that we're going to use for the struts. And for these, I'll just tighten these up right now. I won't wait to tighten this. Alright, now that I got the top propped open, I can put the tools that I'm using so far right up here and hopefully make this a little bit easier. My tools right now are not very organized throughout the garage, which is the reason I have this. So hopefully this can be the first start of making it help. So now I'm just going through in all the other spaces where it needs these little bolts and just placing them in. And then loosely, by hand, tightening them up. Okay, and as we go around here and we start putting in all these bolts and the nuts for them, the last 2 we want to do are the bottom ones. Here's one, and there's one, on the side with the swivel wheels, because we're going to use those 2 longer bolts that we set aside earlier, and we're going to place the handle here and get that attached. Alright, that's looking pretty good to me. Now all I want to do is go around to all these nuts and bolts and tighten them up. Alright, and here it is all done. Alright, and here it is all put together. Had a chance to put a few tools inside here as well.